All right, Josh. So this week, we turned it over. I made a video saying we're turning it over to the inmates.
Oh,
So
I like the analogy.
yes. So we have a bunch of questions from guys on TikTok that we're just going to run through all the questions, try to answer to the best of our ability.
Okay.
Everything is pretty much related to TRT, um, pretty much. And then there's some other ones that may not be.
Are people like are these some of these questions? I didn't look at the video, so I don't know. But if
Yeah.
if they're questions that involve like this is my blood work, I'm not going to answer
No,
those.
there is no there is
um,
some things that are kind of like that, but like there
because my answer to that is go see a provider.
yeah, like there was yeah, there's a couple of ones that are close to that, put it
All
that
right,
way.
we'll
You know what
we'll
I mean?
we'll try to
But
do them some diligence,
yeah, so
but
we're going to go through all of them, and if
because
if
it's
they're probably going to be listening, so we'll
it's
just
too
tell them.
hard to
Yeah, you can't
I don't know their
diagnose.
medical history
Right.
and all that stuff from a comment, and
Right.
it's not the panel of labs I would have ordered and
Yeah.
yada yada
We're not
yada.
going to be
So
able to diagnose anyone from a question on TikTok.
no, absolutely
So
not.
all right, we'll start. So Mike wrote, is there tips? I guess he's on TRT. Tips on controlling out of control hunger.
Tips on controlling out of control hunger
And to be
from
honest, Josh,
testosterone?
I get this question a lot. Now,
Really?
I personally, when I first started TRT, I went through a hunger thing. Like I was like really hungry. Now, it was only like in the first, it wasn't in the first month. It was probably like the second month of being on TRT, maybe
Hmm.
6 weeks, something like that, around there, where I went through like a 3 or 4 week period where I was like hungry. Just like I just
Ate
couldn't be
everything inside,
satiated.
huh?
Like it just like I ate and it was like I wanted to eat more. And then it eventually just went away.
Yeah. My answer to that would be make sure you're eating protein,
Right.
um, not like protein shakes, but actual physical protein. And the reason I say that is protein has a higher satiety index. So when you eat it, it's going to keep you full longer. And I'd also, if you want to go back to our last week's podcast where Brittany was talking, guys are really poor eating fiber,
Right.
and so that's going to help you stay full longer too. It's also going to help your bowel movements. So protein, fiber, very important. That'll help keep your hunger cravings controlled. Um, Another thing I really like to do to help, this is sort of indirect, but vitamin D. I think a lot of guys aren't taking that, but that can actually help curb some sugar cravings.
Okay.
So um, that can be, added on. I think that should just be given to pretty much everyone. It's a
Yeah.
great add-on, vitamin D with K2. So if you're not on it, just get on it.
Right.
But that's where I would start. I wouldn't really look to any of the other medications, and hopefully you're still putting in some type of resistance training as well. So
Yeah.
even if you do eat excess calories, you're at least using them
Right.
appropriately.
Okay. All right. So then Tony has what helps with increasing SHBG and what would help decreasing it also?
Okay, that's a good question, Tony.
Yeah.
I like that one. Um, so he wants to pretty much know about SHBG, what makes it go up and what makes it go
What makes it
down.
go down? Right.
Actually, part of my lecture and when we do consults, so there's a whole section dedicated to SHBG. So I think we talked about that somewhat in our one of our earlier SHBG podcasts. But
We did. That was like one of the
um,
first five that we did.
yeah, I mean, I can answer it here too, just to do that. So SHBG is made by the liver. Um, and I'm not going to go into everything. I'm just going to go into the major main things that would be. So things that can make SHBG increase, or things that I would be looking at for why somebody would have a higher SHBG. Okay, number one, how old are they? Uh, as you age, SHBG goes up. Okay, so this is going to, and I'm not saying like, hey, you're 30 or 40 or 50. We're going to be like 60, 70, 80. We're going to start to see higher SHBGs. Okay. Women have naturally high SHBG. It's pretty typical to see a woman's SHBG between 60 and 80.
Oh,
Birth
really?
control women, oh yeah, very normal. Birth control women, well over 100, sometimes even 200. I've even seen as high as 300
Holy
from
shit.
from women on birth control. And men wonder why they don't want to have sex, because
Right.
it literally yanks every
Yeah.
ounce of testosterone that they make out of circulation.
Oh my God.
Um, the liver, issues with the liver, that can either make it go up or down depending on what the liver issue is. I don't usually have that as a problem because it's one of the last things I assess. Um, Meaning, if I couldn't find a reason for why it's substantially low or substantially high. When I say substantially low, I'm going to be talking about below 15. And if
Right.
I'm saying substantially high in a male, I'm going to say probably greater than 50.
Okay.
Okay. That doesn't mean it's bad. Okay. It doesn't mean if your SHBG is 60, it's bad. It's not. That's actually great. If it's lower than 15, it's not good.
Right.
Well, we're going to have to do some work. Okay. The final thing, and this is the most common reason why I see high SHBG, is individuals in a caloric restriction, people that don't eat enough. Okay. These are people that embody this as a lifestyle. This isn't like, hey, I went on a 12-hour fast around Thanksgiving, or I didn't eat for 2 days, or this, that, and the other. This is people that are chronically in a caloric deficit on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis, where it is their identity, right? These are people like marathon runners, people that are really into CrossFit, vegans, people that just do a lot of vigorous, like overtrain. You're going to see a lot of higher SHBGs in these individuals. So that's important to note. I had a younger guy that came to me because he was underweight and just we couldn't figure out why, or his family couldn't figure out why he wasn't able to like put on mass and grow. 21-year-old guy. Test was great. It was 1,295.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, why is this guy's got tests through the roof? Matter of fact, to date, it's the highest endogenous test value I've had in my clinic. But his SHBG was 97.
Holy smokes.
So why was it 97? He doesn't eat.
Yeah.
And he doesn't gain weight. Why? Because he doesn't eat.
Yeah.
So you need calories and protein calories to be able to grow. And you can't put on weight, and you can't gain mass, you can't gain muscle mass if you don't put the calories in. So
Right.
he's perpetually, that's why his SHBG was 97, perpetually in a caloric deficit. That's why he doesn't grow. That's why he doesn't gain weight, even, with working out, because he just doesn't eat enough. So the solution to his problem was to eat.
Yeah.
And we did a couple interesting things for that particular individual. We actually, one of the few clients that I used ibutamoren mesylate on, or MK677.
I was just going to say, I think
Yep.
you should give him MK, because that's the only
Yeah,
thing I think it does is increase
right,
appetite.
it does. And I got him to eat, and we did it for 3 months, and he gained 12 pounds, and we dropped his SHBG 40 points.
No shit. In
Yeah.
3 months?
Yep.
So he only put on 12 pounds and it dropped at 40 points?
Mm-hmm. But because it's not the pounds, it's the calories that he's now
so his
eating,
body,
okay?
like he's getting the amount that he should be.
Correct. And I mean, we brought it from like 97 to like 60 something.
Yeah.
So it was still high, but like not
it's much more
ultra high.
manageable at 60.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and he felt a lot better, and he was happy that he was able to put on weight, and so those are just some things that you have to think about. I mean, he didn't need testosterone. His testosterone production was fine. But his SHBG was really, super, super high there. And I know I did that video on my TikTok about like SHBG, and you don't treat it individually. Meaning like you can't just lower SHBG and expect testosterone to stay the same level, because total testosterone is 98% roughly, if you're not on testosterone, reflected of your binding protein, the majority of which is SHBG.
Right.
So if you have a shit ton of SHBG, you're going to have a higher total testosterone.
That's what you were saying before about the goalposts, right? Like when you move one, they move.
Yeah, because if you were to give like somebody boron for an example, and they're like, well, we're going to increase your free testosterone. Okay, that's fine. But you're going to lower their total testosterone at the same time. Like,
right.
Like you don't just get to move like one of those poles. The only way you can do that is to give somebody testosterone, where you give it pushes the higher up, and and testosterone is suppressive of SHBG, where it actually pushes it down on the other end, and then you create that separation. So that's what I was kind of talking about in my video. So that'll swing us over into what makes it go down. Number one is going to be androgens, and this is why I am very picky about my protocols with certain people, because if I have somebody with, like, let's say a low SHBG, I may adjust their dose because I don't want to drop it into the floor.
Right.
If you give somebody, it's dose dependent. So if I give somebody a high amount of androgen per dose, I'm going to have a reflective response on their SHBG negatively, to the point where if I suppress it too far, it's really hard to bring it back up, because, as we just discussed, I can't give you anything to bring it up.
Right. Right.
I can give you testosterone to bring it down. So if it's high, I have a lot of leeway, and I can just change our protocol to really let it kind of work its way down sort of organically over time. But if it's too low, the only thing you can do to bring it up is diet, exercise,
Okay.
for the most part. Like, you got to start doing it. So other things are going to be things that revolve around glucose and insulin. So high glucose people, so people that eat a lot of processed foods, a lot of sugar, people that have a lot of insulin release, or people that have insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and then full-blown diabetes and obesity. These are going to be people that I see really low SHBG values on. That's why they say SHBG is a marker of health. So if I have a guy that comes in and he has an SHBG of 50, I know he's pretty healthy.
Right.
Like,
Right.
just out the gate, I know he's probably like fairly normal. BMI is definitely under 30, like pretty much dialed in, probably has some lean mass. Like, that's how I can tell. And if I get somebody that comes in that's 12, I'm like, this guy's probably not well off.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
they are doing androgens.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I
So
guess it doesn't lie,
it doesn't. And that's why I'm like, if you are doing stuff outside of what
Right.
we're doing here, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm
So
watching you.
because the synthetics are incredibly suppressive of SHBG.
Okay.
So,
All
like,
right.
they drop it to the floor.
Okay. So I think that answered that question. Um, this next one is from my boy Nick. Um, he writes, "Hey, question: Will TRT make a Democrat or Republican?"
Oh man.
And to be
Um,
honest with you, it
yes.
does seem like a lot more Republican or right-leaning people are into testosterone replacement therapy. It just
That's
seems that way. I don't know if that's
I would agree. I
scientific
think
study, but
if we're looking, and I'm not trying to alienate anybody here. You do your political party. You live in America. You're allowed to make your own decisions and pick who you want. Um, it does seem like, though, the left is definitely more feminine-ish
yes,
than people on the right, right? And I mean, and even if you look at it just in terms of qualities, like, people on the right like guns, which is a more masculine thing,
right,
right? Where people on the left are kind of against that. People on the right are more towards, um, in my opinion, personal accountability, where
right,
people on the left are more on societal accountability and a lot less on personal. Where, like, hey, it's a group's effort instead of an individual effort. But I think what they fail to realize is if not everybody has good individual efforts,
right.
the societal effort sucks.
Yeah,
So, if, like, that's why I value, like, I'm going to make my choice for me and not have five other people make it
every
for me.
right, right, exactly.
So, there was, I don't have it in front of me, but there was a study that said that guys with testosterone um, have, and I'm going to loosely paraphrase this. So please, if you know the study, share it with me so I can have it. But I saw it somewhere in the past 6 months, and I don't know when it came out, but basically said that testosterone gave guys more independent thinking skills, to where they were more resistant to authority, or more resistant to challenge a
Yeah, right,
challenge something that they didn't maybe agree with.
right,
Right? They were like, they would offer rebuttal, or they would offer, like, that doesn't sound right, or rather than, like, conform to the decision, they would be more apt to speak out about it.
right. And that's where I
Okay.
think the people talk about like the government stepping in so that they don't want high testosterone guys because they're easier to control. Like that's
Right,
a
right.
common thing that
Because if you
people
have higher testosterone, you're going to basically voice your
right
opinion.
fight
Yeah.
back and all this
So
other stuff.
I would say there's probably, if we're gonna loosely collate some correlation here, I would say, yeah, there's probably some truth to that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have a study, but I think just outside looking in, you can see how those qualities would go more with like the people on one side versus the other.
Yeah. I mean, it is true that it does seem like working out and guys that are that work out, it became like a right wing thing.
Well,
I
isn't
don't
that what
think
they're
it was.
saying now that working out's right wing, which I
Yes,
think
that's
is
what
kind
they've
of
been saying.
ridiculous,
Like, and
but
it's like I don't know how. I think everyone is into fitness. I mean, I
sure,
don't
you
think
should be.
political, right? I mean, I would think a lot of people that are vote Democrat are into fitness too.
I just hate how like they try to turn everything into
Everything,
politics nowadays.
everything has to come
Literally
into
everything.
politics.
Just
Yeah.
it's
So,
it's I'm becoming so tired of hearing
oh,
about it. I just
everyone is. It's just eventually just be done with all of this shit.
yep.
Um, all right. So, this is a long question here. This is one I think that goes into. We're going to try to answer as best we can. But my clinic started me at 160 mgs once a week. Obviously, there's a problem right there. After 8 weeks, I got tested and my testosterone was 1460, which was too high. Then they went down to 100 mgs one time a week, got retested, and my testosterone was 1340. And free was in the 320 range, which I'm guessing is
Picograms per
picograms,
milliliter.
not right.
Yeah.
Also, my hematocrit was 51. And then here you go, which is on the high side. It's
51's fine.
right. um, Now I'm down to, I don't know if it says 15 mgs 2 times a week, which equals 60 mgs. That doesn't make, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I'm asking is, why is my testosterone still high and red blood count, I guess, still high? I lift
Well,
4 days a week plus 3 days of yoga. Hopefully, splitting the dose and going down helps. We will see.
so I think there's a lot missing to that. I don't think it's a bad question, but I think the clinic that this particular individual is at sort of missing part of the equation. I have guys routinely come back with greater than 1500 testosterone levels. I don't care.
Yeah, right,
Like whatever. Wow, great. You know, it's all going to be relative to what their sex hormone binding globulin is for the most part.
right,
Or that's one. Two is relative to when they had their labs from their last injection,
right.
right? Like if you just gave your shot and then came in like
Roll in to
literally
get,
8 hours later, yeah, it's going to be high. Like
yeah,
that's why we
exactly.
try to get trough levels,
Hmm.
at like your lowest point. So I know that we're not going below that level, right? So
Yeah,
if you're trying, if you're on like a two day a week protocol, you want to get your blood if you can the day before or the day of your injection
before you
before you
inject.
give your
Right,
injection,
right.
and then you get it and then you can go home and give your injection or whatever. That's probably the best time to get it. So then we know like what the basement is because we know after you give it, it's just going to go up.
Sure.
So, that's easy, but it's really hard whenever you have like, oh, I just gave it yesterday or,
Right,
this morning. And,
right,
of course your testosterone is going back through the roof. That's expected.
right. Yeah,
So
and it's
there's that. And obviously we don't know that the rest of that person's labs. So, and it is going to be more reflective of if they have more binding protein because it's going to hold on to more of that testosterone. So,
right,
when I start guys with SHBGs of 80 on testosterone and we're doing a twice a week protocol for that, yeah, they do have test levels come back even like 2-3 days later, still 1400. That's normal because
right,
there's SHBG still 60. Now over time at that dose, as we decrease that SHBG over time, that total number goes down. So and that's actually a question we get asked, like, why was my test 1400 but now it's 1200? I'm like,
right,
because your SHBG dropped,
right.
15 points.
Yeah,
Our free T is roughly the same. We didn't really change. We're within like 1 or 2 nanograms per deciliter of the same thing. But your total is reflective of that, but we decrease the SHBG.
right.
So that happens. So I wouldn't bulk at those testosterone levels. I would go by how you feel.
Yeah.
And that should always be number one.
And I
And
wouldn't
then
bulk at the
two,
51 hematocrit either.
no, that's totally. I have so many guys over 51, which is LabCorp's cutoff for a high hematocrit. I mean, I have guys at 54, 55% fairly routinely.
Right.
Um, and my measurement at my lab's a little bit different than LabCorp. If I extrapolate it, it would end up being like 53, 54% if I just did straight hematocrit, or excuse me, straight hemoglobin calculations. My lab uses the mean corpuscular volume to determine the hematocrit. So it's a little bit different. My measurements go a little bit higher. Like my normal range for hematocrit at my lab's 56% before it
Okay.
cuts off. But I still look at, sometimes I'll still calculate it. I always look at the red blood cell production too. I actually had a guy that had red blood cells over 7 not too long ago, and I was like,
Yeah,
and his hematocrit was 60 on my scale, which was high.
that's high. Yeah.
Yeah, which was weird because it hadn't been like that before. But here, come to find out, we rechecked it and it did go down. He was like really dehydrated for that blood
Oh,
draw.
there you go.
So always stay hydrated, boys.
Always got to drink your water.
So hopefully that answers that question.
All right. So, MAGA USA is the account. I'm guessing they're a right wing guy. 45 years old. 574 total. 17 free. And then it says 30 pregnenolone. DHEA 64.6. Would TRT help at those levels? And then it says mood, body composition, recovery, etc.
I mean, I don't even routinely test for prohormones because they're not really something that's necessary. 9.5 times out of 10. So if your clinic's checking for those, they're probably just trying to sell you something.
Right.
There's a time and there's a place to maybe look into a prohormone, but it's certainly not starting testosterone. That should always be number one. So I mean, 574 test again, not, we don't have some of the other labs that we would want to look for
Yeah.
in determining that. I just started a guy last week with a total testosterone natural of 1,075 on testosterone. Why? Because his free was only 12 and he
Yeah.
had symptoms.
Yeah.
So
His
sure.
free is 17, which isn't terrible.
But it could be 17 picograms,
Oh, right. I
or
guess
it
we
could
don't
be, we
know
don't
that.
know, right?
Right.
Or it could be 17 nanograms. We don't really
We
know.
also don't
So
know SHBG either.
right, and that's how we would calculate that.
Hmm.
So um, there's a lot of like confounding variables, and unfortunately, I think a lot of these clinics don't test for that stuff because they don't necessarily know
Right.
about it, and they don't understand how to interpret it, and what you would do with that finding, and why it's important. And it gets to a point where it's not as important because it does stabilize like once you get beyond. But starting out, it's actually very important. At least to me, it is.
Yeah.
And getting a protocol. But if you've been on TRT for a year and you're dialed in, then I'm not super concerned as
Right.
your SHBG at that point, because it's going to be within
Right.
5 to 10 points of what it kind of always is at that point.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
barring that you don't make any major changes,
Right. Drastic stuff. Right.
like in your diet or anything. So,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, you don't need pro hormones. I mean, pregnenolone, we do use it in some men very sparingly for some sleep related issues. We have kind of a sleep protocol with glycine and pregnenolone that tends to work fairly well, with a couple other things if men are still having some sleep
Right.
disturbances, I guess you could say. Um, and that's not to say that that's like the be all end all, because it's not, but um, it's an option. And then DHEA, I really only introduced into men that still have erectile issues. So, and that's generally men that are older,
Right.
like 60 plus, and those guys, they do benefit from it. Um, I may not check a level on them like right out the gate. In men, the pro hormones translate very little to actual hormones. They translate very little in females too. But so I don't know why there's like this huge focus on those as
Right.
much. Because if DHEA was truly a treatment to raise your testosterone, then everybody would be on DHEA.
Right. Exactly. That's
It
exactly
doesn't
it.
it doesn't work that way.
Right. Yeah. All right. So this is actually a common question that I get. This is from Kyle. He just changed clinics. I get these things all the time. I change clinics and they
Okay.
totally, the protocols are two different things and then people are
Sure.
freaked out. So he just changed clinics and they increased the dose from 160 mgs a week to 200. I pushed back and asked if that was too big of an increase they said it was normal. And these are the I always respond to that rarely is 200 like, I mean, depending if like your size, what your T is, all this, but
I actually, Kyle sent me a DM about that.
he did?
I told him to put the question in the video so we
Okay.
could talk about it. Because I'll echo this. So I'm glad he asked this question, and he said, "Is there a difference in splitting it from three to two? And do you ever prescribe 200 a week?" And I said, "This is my direct response. There may be a need to split the dose pending a few things, and rarely does anyone need 200 milligrams. I think I have about 4 to 5 guys in my whole clinic who are on or slightly over that amount. And if you get put on 200 milligrams, it's probably just a standard cookie cutter protocol that you're
Right.
being given because that's what that clinic does.
Yep.
And some guys need 200 milligrams, but very few guys don't. Um, I think and this is what I wanted to I think talk about in this particular context. I don't have the data in front of me, but I think there's this overall like ethos that more steroid or more testosterone is better,
Right.
right?
Right.
That oh, I'm going to take more and I'm just going to get so much more out of this, and that's not the case. Like sometimes more is doesn't it? You start to get some like I would call them diminishing returns on like how good things are going to be.
Right.
In terms of an anabolic stuff, sure, can you put on more muscle? Absolutely, but okay, if you put on 5 pounds of muscle versus putting on 7 pounds, does
Right.
it really matter for like the average person?
Right.
No.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
it's sort of like this point. And I know that there was that study, I think it was Australian, where they had the I printed it out. Matter of fact, I may even have it sitting around here somewhere. Um, it was about testosterone, and they had 4 different groups of guys, and they gave them all different levels of androgens. And it was like 200 milligrams, 300 milligrams, 600 milligrams, I think was the one group. Actually, is this it right here? No, it's not. It's my wife's stuff. At any rate, I had the data from that. I have the study printed out somewhere. I just don't have it in front of me. But basically, what it boiled down to is they actually gave us SHBG and total average values for each group. Okay. And these individuals that were given this were not to work out at all over,
So,
I think it was like a 12-week time frame.
oh, damn.
Yeah. And the people that gained, the people that were on 600 milligrams ended up gaining like 12 kilos of mass in 12 weeks, doing basically nothing.
Holy shit.
So, I mean, obviously, there's your protein synthesis. So I was looking at the 300 group, but I was calculating out free testosterone values, right? So I was like, okay, let's look at some free T values of like what these are. And I'm pretty sure when I calculated the free with, a defaulted albumin of 4.3 and SHBG, I think the 300 group, like on average, was around like 41 nanograms per deciliter free T. And I'm like, I'm at 37
Right.
and I'm on 150 a week. I'm on half that amount.
Right.
And my free T is cruising somewhere in the upper 30s. So that's why I'm like, do we really need to go to 300 or do we just need to be more efficient about our application?
Right. Exactly.
So I think that's what a lot of clinics unfortunately don't understand. They're just like, here, take 200, see you
Right.
later.
More.
And
Right.
and that makes sense if you're going to do like a once a week application because you're going to go way up
Right.
and then you're going to spend all week kind of coasting back down to like a normal level. Or you could just, but when you go way up, you may have some other unintended things that you may not like um, from going way up. Or you can narrow the window and dial it down where we don't go way up, but we don't go way down either. We
Right.
just kind of hold in like
Yep.
the good realm of where we
That's
want to
it.
be.
Floating around the middle.
So I guess that was my takeaway from that is you don't always need to go up on the androgen to get the benefits. Sometimes you just have to be more efficient in its application. And then that's very true. I mean, we didn't reinvent the engine, but we did make it more efficient to give more power.
Yeah.
So, and the internal combustion engine. So if you go back, like it's changed through the years, but we've made it more efficient by adding, different things and taking stuff away. And I mean, arguably it's a lot more complicated nowadays, but it had to be more complicated to make it more efficient.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right. Well, so the next question is from Buck. I like
oh, I like
people's name
that.
Buck.
Yeah.
Um, Hi all. I see on my blood work for TRT is 280. It says I am normal, but don't feel it. What number should I look forward to? Thank you. 62. I go to the gym, always tired and lethargic with 280. That's normal. Someone, I guess the doctor said that's normal.
Well, I mean, because it came back over 250, so they're going to be like, "Yo, you're in the normal range."
Yeah.
Obviously, we know 280 is terrible. So we would the answer to this question is quite simple. Buck, go get an evaluation
Yeah.
at an actual proper clinic outside of normal healthcare channels that's going to tell you that 280 levels normal because it's
Yeah.
not.
Now I would imagine he goes to the gym already, 62. If he was to get on testosterone, that would be like a fucking rocket ship to him.
Yeah, it would be. It really would. So he would do quite well. There'd be some adjustments, but
Hmm.
it would do him quite well. And then too, getting some of that benefit. It's really I think there's going to be some studies that come out or that need to be done on men who are older and giving them testosterone. I'm talking guys that are like 70 plus,
Yeah.
and just seeing what happens with the benefits of giving them proper testosterone. I'm not talking about androgel or any of that. I'm talking about guys on like with solid protocols that aren't just some bullshit ones that are, cookie cutter,
Yeah.
or given some product that's ineffective that gets used in every study. I would love to see something like that set up because I guarantee you it'd be quite profound.
Yeah. I mean, I think someone just talked about, a doctor just talked about the prostate stuff, that like debunking the prostate. And
Hmm.
he was like, the older guy, he goes, if testosterone was the cause of prostate cancer, then 20-year-old guys would get prostate
Oh yeah,
cancer.
absolutely. I actually just had this discussion today, and I think there's going to be a lot more research into looking at testosterone replacement being potentially a risk reducer for prostate cancer, and that's not through testosterone; it would be through estradiol.
Estradiol, right, right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm interested to see more of that literature come out
yeah,
in the future if they get to it.
right. So John is next. 39 years old. His total is 277. His free is 60. Was back in December. Finally, after 5 or so months, I got my appointment with an endocrinologist to go over labs and symptoms, all for them to tell me I'm fine and TRT would only be for performance enhancing because my levels are normal. Any thoughts or advice would be appreciated. These
I would,
fucking endocrinologists,
I
man.
know, I would say, okay, so performance enhancement, like let's look at you, let's look at me.
Yeah,
I mean, we're in decent shape. Like
right,
like we're not like guys that are slops for
right,
sure. Like
right,
I'm probably in the best shape, but I am in no way like
uh,
a peak like
right. Well-oiled
bodybuilder
machine.
guy.
Right.
I look like a guy that's muscular, that's well put together, that has lean muscle mass. Like I look appropriate.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And maybe a little bit beyond that, right? But that's it. There's nothing egregious here.
right.
And I think people need to break that stigma because the first thing they hear about
That's
is like, oh,
right.
you want to go on testosterone, you're going to magically turn into Jay Cutler.
Right.
That
Steroids.
does not happen.
Steroids. That's what everyone, that's the first thing that I think the people get is steroids. And it's
Yep,
not, it's just not, and it always seems it's the doctors,
it does.
the
It does.
endocrinologists, the family doctors, like
I
they're the
don't know where
ones.
they're getting this from. I really don't. But it's just like the first thing that like hits their head, and they're like, no, like you're going to abuse that, and it's like I don't have anybody that does that because we're all
Right.
on the same page. Like we know what the goal is here, and it's
Right.
not that.
Right. I mean,
So
you will
it's
do get some, I mean, you will get performance enhancing. That's
sure,
for sure. I mean, your overall performance will be enhanced in
absolutely.
every aspect of your life.
Yep.
The bedroom, the sleep. I mean, sleeping, there's two aspects of the bedroom. Sleeping will be enhanced. The other part will be enhanced. Your work, your thinking, your, mental, um, tired, all of it. You know what I mean? Like it all
Yeah,
working out, everying
it
everything
puts
will
it
be
it puts
enhanced.
it all back into perspective for you. That's for sure. So at
Yeah.
least it does in most people. I mean, it doesn't change your life situation, but
So
maybe makes it a little bit easier to
somebody
deal with.
actually replied to that. I'm going to read that one. It says, find a new doctor, go to a clinic that
That's
specializes in
solid
TRT.
advice.
Yeah. If one isn't in your area, find an online provider or go UGL. Choice is up to you.
Definitely
So,
would not recommend UGL, but
no, no, but I just had to read it. That was a pretty funny response.
well, at least
So,
they had the right idea. Like,
no,
go
they did.
somewhere else.
Yeah, go somewhere
They did.
else.
Yeah. And
Benjamin, he has thoughts on TRT at 27. Levels were pretty low. Did a lot of natural things to try to increase testosterone. Started TRT in January, and I feel great now. I'm a better father, husband, and employee. Only doing 120 mgs a week and pinning 2 times a week. So I think that was just more of a statement than an actual
yeah,
question. But good, Benjamin.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
good.
27, definitely your androgen exposure increases. I mean, because most of the guys that we're treating are like upper 30s, 40s, 50s. So being on at that age, you are exposed to androgens for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the major crux for there's two things, and one is the androgen exposure, two, the longevity of the androgen exposure, and two is the fertility aspect.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
it says I'm a better father, husband, and employee.
yeah,
So
no. So I
maybe he's
mean,
over the
there's
hump.
children there, but potentially maybe future children
Right.
is what
That's
I'm
what I'm saying.
getting at.
Maybe
So
he's
I mean,
over the.
obviously we have some tools, some tricks that we can
Yes.
kind of employ, but the number one thing here is the best way to make sure that nothing happens is to never go on,
Yes.
at least until children are
Absolutely
born, like that
necessary.
type of
Yep.
stuff, right?
Right.
So I don't really have anything to add to that.
No.
So
Well, I mean, I'm good. Benjamin's doing a good thing, and he
yeah,
feels better. He's a better father, husband, and employee. He's enhanced,
he's enhanced.
right? That's good. Okay, next question. This is actually pretty good. We actually just talked about this pretty much. How does exercise affect SHBG levels, and should that impact how someone adjusts their TRT dose? Just curious how different types of training might change how much free T we actually get from our injections.
I mean, it's not going to be something that you're going to just magically have an SHBG of like 20 and then it's going to go to 50.
Right,
Like that won't happen. Like it might go from like 20 to 25 or 20 to 26. Like it's gradual. So it's not going to be anything that you really notice in terms of like, hey, my free T is making major strides.
right.
So as you eat healthier, as you lose adipose tissue, as you become more efficient in your glucose transport, your mitochondrial efficiency increases from everything. Um, you will increase your SHBG slightly over time, but it's subtle. It's not drastic. So unless you just completely stopped eating,
Right.
so but I think if it's not going to affect free T to the level of what people think it is, especially people on TRT, right? Um, because they're going to pretty much stay, you know, locked in a somewhat of a range from just being on the androgen.
Yeah.
People on exogenous or endogenous, where they're not on TRT, free T is still going to move very very little. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's a whirlwind. You don't jump at 30 points. You can drop at 30 points, but going up
Can't
30
raise
points is like
hard.
almost unheard of. It's so hard to increase it that quick.
Yeah.
It's hard to
So
increase it at all.
the first part of exercising affect SHBG. I mean, I guess like if guys like you were saying before about marathon runners,
Yeah,
CrossFitters, that can affect their SHBG, right? That's
right. Well, they'll have high SHBG, yeah,
high. Yeah.
but it's not from the exercise; it's from the calories,
Calories, right.
right?
Okay.
Burning so much, but they're not really replacing.
Right. And then
That's
it
what it
says
says.
it's and how should that impact how someone adjusts their TRT dose?
Um, if it's uh, if it's high, um, so my rule of thumb is this: is if I have an SHBG over a certain threshold, we're gonna do 2 injections a week, and if it's below a certain threshold, we're gonna do 3. Why?
Mhm.
Because as you remember, we talked about earlier that suppression of SHBG is dose dependent.
Right.
So if I take an overall dose for a guy per week, so how I do it is your overall body mass determines your overall body mass, and your ideal body weight determines my dose. That's how much you're going to get per week, at least to start. Okay. And I have all this kind of figured out just from doing this for a long time, because there's no papers on this. This is all just clinical trial and error, essentially. Okay. And I've gotten pretty good at it. And so like I'll be like, okay, your X weight, and so your overall body mass and your ideal body weight is going to determine your overall dose for the week. Your SHBG is going to determine the frequency in which I have you inject it. Okay.
Right.
So if it's over a certain point, if it's on the higher side, we're going to do 2 injections. If it's on the lower side, we're going to do 3 injections. And if it's really low, we may even consider doing micro daily injections for a period of time, not forever, to allow us to help increase that SHBG, because we don't want to give a lot of androgen because it's just going to keep that SHBG low.
Right.
We're going to try to work on bringing it up and giving you the best possible chance to bring it up. And so it's not a game of like, what can I do to bring it up? It's what can I do to not bring it down as much.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So that's really what the game is there. Whenever we do that. And usually if I'm starting somebody on TRT, almost always, not always, but almost always, they will come back with an SHBG less than when they start. Now, it usually bounces back. It does usually, like that first 10-week follow-up, and then when I see them 3 months later, it usually sort of starts cresting back up, assuming they don't make any drastic changes
Right.
in lifestyle or, So if we started at 25 and it dips to 19 and they come back at maybe 23 or 24 after
Right.
like 6 months, that's pretty
Yeah.
typical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Kevin, can you guys explain why sometimes you'd get some blood while pinning IM, but most times not? I'm not concerned. I'm just curious. I think I've had that happen a few times. Not like crazy amounts of blood, but just a little bit when you pull the needle out. Probably just hit a little vein or
Yeah,
something, right?
yeah. I mean that can happen. I actually had a client come in today who was saying about like he had some oil leak out. Some of the testosterone oil leaked out. So we reviewed his injection process and went through it, and we got it. And when we did his injection in the office, he bled a little bit, but that can happen. So
Hmm.
it's still a muscle. You still have vascularity in there. You can't see it. If you hit a small vessel and it bleeds a little bit, it's just kind of the way it is. So
Yeah.
you can have it from any intramuscular site.
I usually take the cotton swab and I just the alcohol swab and rub it when it happens.
Yeah,
And it
that's
goes away.
perfect. Yep, that's all you got to do. But that's
Um,
very common. So that's a common thing that happens.
hold on, did this guy already ask a question? I have a feeling. Oh, this is Kyle again. Does
Kyle's
200 mgs a
asking.
week ever make sense? Remember when we talked to Kyle? That was Kyle before asked. He just changed clinics.
Hmm.
So that was all right. So we'll take that question out. Oh, here you go. When is Josh going to let California in the door? I need him.
I think
And
the question should
unfortunately,
be,
hold on, I was going to answer this question. Unfortunately, you live in California.
yeah.
It's like
I was
you
like,
have a better chance in all 49 other states. California, unfortunately, no bueno.
I think the question should there have been, when am I moving out of California to
Right.
go to a state that Josh treats?
Yeah.
Not when am I going
I
there?
almost was going to
When are you
answer that.
coming?
I'm like, of all of the states, that's the absolute worst one to be in.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
regulation. That's all there is to it.
It's regulation.
Regulation in
That's what they
California is ridiculous.
societal regulation. Put everything into the ground. We're going to only benefit, a few people. Somebody's palms are getting greased. It's not
Yeah.
yours
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
mine.
Unfortunately, California is a tough place to do, I think, any kind of business.
That's why I expect so many of the larger companies are bailing.
Yeah.
And
It's tough.
it's a tough state to function in right now.
It's very tough. And it's like, you know what it is? Like, I mean, I
Which
get
is
where
a
they're
shame because
coming from.
California is a really, really
Oh,
nice state.
beautiful, beautiful place
Really
to
nice
live.
state. Yeah.
Um, I get where they're coming from. They have like a do-gooder kind of feel. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I know like what they're trying to do, but it's
I
not
heard
realistic, the stuff that they're trying to implement.
I heard a guy talk about this recently, and it was a more of a conservative guy, and he was on a flight, and he was talking. He was flying out of Dallas, and I don't know where I heard this, but he summed up kind of, I think, the ethos behind all this quite well, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's because we're always like, if you're right wing or you're left wing, and I don't mean to politic derail this, but
Yeah,
I think the message is good. Um, is that we all, I think, really want to do like the right thing. So his example was, so he's on this flight and he's like, oh, I'm flying out of Dallas. I don't have to sit next to somebody that's going to argue with me about politics the whole flight. And he's like, of all the flights I get on, like I get next to the person, like the liberal
right. Of
person on the
course.
flight.
Of
Of course,
course.
we're starting to talk. And he's like, but the person was receptive, which is also rare on either side. And he was like, I just kind of want to legitimately understand where your thought process is coming from. And he was like, so let's start on some commonality here. He's like, so let's take like the floods and the hurricanes and stuff that hit like the Carolinas and Tennessee. He's like, when that happened, can we agree that that was like not good? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And she's like, okay, so like, and so did you want to like do anything about that? You know, because he's like, when I saw that, he was like, I wanted to go help. Like I
Right.
wanted to either like drive down there and like volunteer my time to like help people and maybe like not like forever, but like maybe give like a day or two to like volunteer to like get these people back on their feet, bring some clothes, like personally do it or donate directly to somebody that's going there to do the work,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like an effort that there's like boots on the ground. Like I know that like my money is going to pay for
Right.
like
Not just
hotel
some,
rooms or
right. Right.
right, that it's not just going into some pot. Like I want to personally be accountable for my participation in this tragedy. And that's fine, because here's the thing: if I wanted to do that, I'm not making that decision for you,
Right.
right? Because that's how that puts the accountability on me. And he's like, you guys want to help too, but your way of helping is like, well, now we want to start another government program
Right. Exactly.
to help pay for
Oversee
future
and right.
over things. And he's like, but now what you've done is you've eliminated the choice of somebody that may not have the financial means or the reason to participate in this, and you've drugged them into participating without having a choice.
Yeah.
And that I think really makes a lot of sense, because that's really what it is when you think about it. Like the kind of that agenda is sort of legislating these policies that are supposed to be the benefit of everybody, but drag everybody in from a financial perspective where we're all paying for it.
Right.
But then you don't really see much result for it,
Yeah.
because it's like, where does it go? Nobody knows. I
Government.
mean, look at the USAID stuff.
Right.
That's sort of the same idea. We've created this,
Right.
and the money just poof, and then
It
nobody
gets
knows.
all forms of government get too bloated
Right.
and they become filled with like with a pork and it's like it's just it
So his
becomes
theory was, it's like we both want the same things. We just want them in different ways.
right.
And I subscribe to his thing where I want to have accountability, where like I want to know if I'm putting it in, like something's going to happen positive. Like I don't want to just go into the nether and then be like, well, we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that to me then is like, well, then why'd I even give it to you? Like, what's the
Right.
point?
Not just yeah, exactly. It's hard to track all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you want to help. And if you're not seeing the help actualized, did you really
Right.
help?
Yeah. How do you know? Right.
So
So long story short, Josh will not be in California
I will not be in California.
unless things change dramatically.
Dramatically.
But I'm going to be honest with you, I would love to live in California.
Same. I've been there. San Diego's beautiful.
San
Love it.
Diego,
I
LA,
mean, food was
the
great.
weather.
I've never been to LA. I really want to hit like some wine country. I know Brittany was talking about it, going to Napa Valley. I
Yeah,
mean,
Sonoma.
would love to see that Joshua Tree. Obviously my name is Joshua, so I want to go there just for that.
Yeah.
I want to see the giant ass redwood trees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, beautiful place, Tahoe.
It's crazy. I mean, you think about
But
it, like it's from one end to the other. They have, from skiing down to the beach
dude,
and
it's yeah, it's skiing to desert, really.
right, exactly,
And
to the desert.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a shame. It's a shame because and I see why people live there. It's a one. I mean, San Diego's climate is ridiculously nice, like
Yeah,
year round.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah,
it's
it's a
just
shame.
it's
It is a
like
shame.
untenable to live there because of regulation.
Yeah. That and the fucking earthquakes. I don't fuck with earthquakes.
Yeah,
I live in the Northeast. I live outside of Philly. I'll fucking shovel snow all day long.
we
I will
actually had an
not.
earthquake here in South Central PA about 8 years ago.
Yeah, there was one here too. That
Yeah,
was that might have been the same one maybe.
it was weird,
Like
dude. And like
Virginia and all that came up. It was like a
I was driving to work when it happened, and I got to work. Like, did you feel the earthquake? I was like, we had an earthquake. I
yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Was that 8 years ago? It might have been longer than that,
It,
right?
it may have been. I
Yeah, I
was.
think that was longer than
It
that.
may have been. Actually, it was longer than that because the road I was on from driving that was at my old house. Um, and we've lived in this house for like 12 years. So it was definitely over 12 years
Yeah, I
ago.
was gonna say it was before my daughter was born, because I remember when that happened.
Probably
Yeah,
like
that was wild.
2010, somewhere
And that
around
was
there.
like a little thing shaking. Like these
Yeah.
fucking things were British. No, no, fuck that. That's not my shit. And tornado shit. Like people that live in
Yeah,
the
no.
Midwest, you people are out of your fucking mind. Like I am not tornadoes that come through and just wipe out everything. Not my cup of tea. That's it. One time, I'm out. That's it. I'm a pussy. See ya. I don't fuck around with Mother Nature that just will just take your shit and just scatter it
Oh,
around
Mother Nature
in
don't play,
seconds.
man. She
Nope.
always wins
Like I
too.
said, I will shovel fucking snow. I will do all that. I know 3 days ahead of time when it's coming. I can stock up, get the shovels ready. I will do that everything. Instantaneous shit that gives you like a minute warning for you to run to the storm cellar at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can fucking keep that shit, dude. Like, it's like, so, all right. So Jared, he's the next one. He's 50 years old. He's currently on 90 tests per week, two different shots, 45 and 45. I typically fudge to 100, 50 and 50.
He's trying, Jared.
Thoughts on going to 200, 100 and 100, kind of a mini cycle. Well, that's not a mini cycle, but
No. I mean, compared to where
200,
he's at, it might be, but
yeah, but 200 is probably too
I
much.
yeah. I mean, again, hopefully you have a competent person to work with that understands. I think 90's really low. I don't even have anybody. I
Yeah,
don't have anybody in my current clinic under 100 milligrams.
right.
And the only people I have on 100 milligrams, I have this elderly gentleman who's small. He's on 100.
Yeah,
And then I had another guy who's like a normal size guy. And he's on a cream, but I started him on 150, but he had issues with his blood pressure. I don't think from the cream per se. Um, I know TRT can increase your blood pressure, but his was
yeah,
going to like 200. I think he had some. Well, he not. Yeah, I think he did. He did have some underlying hypertensive issues, and which have now been mitigated. Um, and I backed him down to just 100 for a
yeah.
period of time, and we're actually doing follow up here soon.
I
So
would say to Jared, maybe jumping 100 is probably a bit much.
yeah, I would say so too.
Maybe 50 and see how it goes. Maybe do 150. But 200 is, I mean, you're doubling it. Like
Right,
that's excessive. I mean, even adding 50% is a lot, but
right.
I would think, being at like 140, 150 kind of, and you can judge from there, but 200 that's doubling. I don't know. I wouldn't do that. So there is, two questions left. Jason. So he's on TRT. No longer, wait. Oh, I guess no longer his nuts. He just put nuts in the thing. So I guess he's no,
Oh,
the balls are shrinking. So,
it's shrinking. That's pretty.
and
It's a normal expectation.
and if not, how do you know if you are done? I guess basically, if you don't have any semen, I guess. So you would just
Well,
need,
I think what people are confounding here is that ejaculate is compromised of several things. So when we're talking about sperm production from the testes, we're talking about the actual sperm, not the seminal vesicle fluid,
right.
not the prostatic fluid, which make up 90% of ejaculate. Sperm's only 10% of that.
Yeah.
So We're talking about, the haploid cells that fertilize eggs. That gets turned off, but the other stuff does not. So that still happens.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no part of the ejaculate other than the sperm that comes from the testes, because the other two structures are up.
Right.
You have the prostate kind of at the base of the bladder and the seminal vesicles behind it. So
So
um,
you can get a sperm analysis, right?
you can do a
Like a
semen
test.
analysis to see,
Yeah.
like, if you're concerned for fertility, then yeah, do a semen analysis for sure.
Okay.
We have
So
them. We
maybe
have kits
that's
in our office.
all right. How do you do that?
I work with a company that does an overnight semen analysis test, and they have a preservative that actually preserves semen for up to 56 hours.
No shit.
So yeah, they do it in home, and it's already like ready to go. It's actually pretty slick. Um, and you can do the kit at home. You put it in the thing, you take it right to the UPS store, and it gets overnighted to California.
Really?
Yep.
No
And then they
shit.
get results back usually within 24 hours after it arrives.
So what are the numbers, Josh, if you are like what's the numbers a cutoff that says that like you are, infertile?
So there's two metrics. There's two major guidelines, and I haven't looked at the WHO's recently. When I left urology, I still think it was 15 million sperm with at least 40% motility.
Okay.
That's the
So,
lowest cutoff before you're declared subfertile.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a normal ejaculate's over 200 million. So
15
we're making
million from 200 million. That's
that's
significant.
yeah, that's pretty significant. Yeah. So like a
Damn.
typical ejaculate's 200, 250 million sperm per ejaculation. And
Holy shit. That's crazy. It's hard to believe that there's that much that goes into that. And each time you do it, you know?
yep.
Like that's a lot. Um, all right, well, this is it. Last question. Um, hold on, it says internet connection. Froze up there for a second. Doctor just bumped my dose from 75 to 100 once a week. I'd like to dose twice a week so I don't experience the crash. Is 100 too low to dose twice a week? Been on 75 since March 20th, 2025. So 2 full months. Original numbers were 397, and then it says 7.5, and it increased to 563 and 13.3. Guess that's total on free T? I don't know. As of
Right.
last
That's what it
week.
sounds like.
So as of last, so
It
so
sounds like, it sounds like he's a very conservative doctor
yes.
that it's not really increasing much. So I know of a lot of clinicians that will only treat to get guys to like 5, 6, 700, and that's it total. They don't even
Oh,
care what your free
really?
is. Oh yeah, there's a lot of places that do that.
Five or
The
seven
whole
hundred?
traverse, the whole traverse study was the experimental group with the testosterone androgel had levels between 350 and 750. That's where they kept them.
What?
Yeah.
Why would
I
they
mean,
do
I'm
that?
starting guys at 750 on testosterone.
Yeah. I mean, but
So,
that's not like an optimized level, right? I mean,
it, well, again, you got to understand that study was sponsored by big pharmaceutical. It was set up in a way to, in my opinion, project a certain result. Um, you know, because now, I mean, androgel looks great. It's safe, right?
right,
I mean,
right.
the FDA last month removed the cardiovascular warning from testosterone.
Yeah,
They did slap a hypertension sticker on there.
of course, they're not going to
Um,
leave it.
no, you can't take one without adding some.
Yeah.
It's like the old saying goes when I was at the strip club: you put something in, you can take something out
Exactly. You
in the
always put a
bathroom.
lot more in than you
Yeah,
get out of it.
I put
But
like $5 and I got a fucking blow pop.
nice. There you go. Um, all right. Well, that was um that was actually pretty good. I like that.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll do that every once in a while. We'll get some guys, ask their questions. Um, because it goes all over the map a little bit, you
Does.
know? So at least people
Maybe we
get
could
some
get some.
answers.
We should get some women. I know it's. I think it's kind of hard because we did this from a TikTok video, and I know we don't have a lot of women followers on
Yeah, I
that.
have very little women
Yeah,
followers. I have a few, but
to ask some HRT related questions because I think that would be a good
yeah,
um, litmus for them as well. HRT is just
the
as important
the
for them.
one of the best podcast performances as far as views and downloads and everything
Uh-huh.
is with me and my wife.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just
What's the most popular one that you've had thus far?
uh it's um it's either
Is it the
the
AI one?
it's either the number one, the testosterone, the very first one we did,
Okay.
or number five in clomiphene. They're the two that and then they switch. Like they'll go like somebody will like, but they're the two highest one. They're like dramatically higher than the rest.
Interesting.
And then they'll switch like every week. Like testosterone will go above, but the enclomiphene one, then it'll switch.
Okay.
So yeah, they're the two subjects that everyone's concerned with. It
Yeah, at
seems
least in
like
social media they are.
right. Yeah, I mean you just type in clomiphene in there, and you're gonna have the pros and con people that go in
Gonna
there
be
and
hard to make them body comp changes with that enclomiphene
hmm but that's
and that IGF-1 cutting 50%.
but you don't have to inject it.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
easy.
hmm
We'll give you a cream. We'll get you the Vagisil.
right. That works wonders. All right, Josh. Well, that was actually pretty good. I like it. We're going to see. I'll put this out there. Tell everyone.
Cool.
Maybe, like I said, we'll do every once in a while. We'll have some guys ask their questions. Maybe what we'll do even too. Also, if people want to ask questions, they can just send them to me, and maybe if we have a question at the end of each podcast, we'll ask a couple questions just
Sure.
so people, because I mean, like, look, I mean, we know they go to these clinics, and some of these clinics are fucking terrible. Let's just be honest.
There's a lot of terrible clinics,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I don't want to badmouth other clinics, but unfortunately, it's getting to the point where they're ruining it for everybody
Yes.
because they're terrible.
Right.
And please, I hope if you're at a terrible clinic, if you're not getting the answers that you seek, that's probably why.
Yeah.
You should be at a clinic that if you have a question, they can like bang answer it. If it sounds a little suspect question, you know, if you get like a half answer, or dismissed or anything, then I probably start questioning,
Looking elsewhere.
why
Yeah.
am I here?
Yeah.
So
And I know it's hard. Like, the telehealth is hard because I think a lot of people prefer like a face to face. You
yeah,
walk in the door, you see the people. You know what I mean?
85% of our clients are local.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I get it. It's hard to do things where you're over the internet or over the phone,
right. We
you
do
know?
do the video communication. So it's nice. They get to see
Yeah.
me. I get
It's
to
to
see
see it.
them and
Yeah. Yeah. I
know.
just think that there's something different, like when you're in the building
Oh, 100%.
sitting on, you know what I mean? It just has like
Yep.
a feel, and I think that that's hard for guys to,
Can have a bourbon in my clinic.
yeah, there you go. You know what I mean? So, oh, well, also, let's talk about your shirt, as that's going to be coming up soon too, right?
Oh yeah, I guess. I don't know if you can,
Yeah, we can see it.
for those of us on YouTube,
Yeah.
it says priapus shot. So, which is the short form of that is P shot.
hmm
We are finally starting those. I had a couple setbacks there, but I finally have everything pretty much ready to go once the pumps come in.
Okay. What does the P shot do for people that don't know?
So P shot is taking P shot or priapus shot is basically taking your plasma from your body, and we're injecting it back into the cavernosal body of the penis. So yes, there is an injection down there. Don't worry, we numb you quite well. It's a topical. We let it sit for 20 minutes. We go back, we numb it with some actual lidocaine. We let that sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we go ahead and give the injections, which we're using small needles for that. So same as T needle, 27 gauge actually for the 31s for the numbing, 27 gauge for the blood products.
Okay.
But what that does is it can help with erectile dysfunction. So men that have a recalcitrant which means recurring, erectile dysfunction that are refractory to, let's say, phosphodiesterase inhibitors. You're on Viagra, you're on Cialis, it's not really working. What's going on? You may want to consider having a P shot done. So it will help with that. Doesn't work right away. You get the full benefit at around 12 weeks. You can have it repeated. Matter of fact, we do recommend when we're selling these, we have a set cost for one shot, but we give you a discount if you buy two.
Okay.
Because most men are probably going to eventually need to, at least to start. And after that, we could do like a maintenance. We may even do like a buy three and even save more if you do
Right.
it that way.
Right.
So, if you buy one, it's the full cost. You buy two, you get 500 off. You buy three, you get 1,000 off type deal.
Okay. But if you do not have erectile dysfunction,
So
you don't have ED, can you still get the P shot?
you can have it done. You can. So you can definitely do it. It does increase girth almost immediately. So
Okay.
you probably will max out the amount of girth that you get after two shots, though. So after that,
Okay. After two.
after two, it's really not gonna.
Oh, I think we froze up. Oh, all right. We're
There we
back.
are. I have to
We're
stitch
back.
that one together on the thing,
Yeah, we'll have to cut that part out. All right. So,
but
yeah, we lost
yeah.
you.
The last thing is it helps with Peyronie's disease. So if you have a guy that has a plaque that's formed, and Peyronie's is named after the French physician of King. I can't remember which king in France, but his last name was Peyronie, and King, being the king, ended up, banging a bunch of women and ended up getting a bent penis from it. And so the description at the time was rosary beads, right? So you have these hard areas in the penis, but basically what it is, it's just this plaque. It's a scar tissue that forms on the outside of the cavernosal body, which is what fills with blood. And what happens is it almost acts like a spot weld, right? And as those two chambers fill up with blood, if I've spot welded one, what ends up happening is this one will fill up with blood all the way, but this one won't. And so if it'll just kind of bend in that direction. So
Oh,
wherever the plaque is the direction that the bend will happen in, because it's sort of pinching it and not allowing equal expansion of the two corporal bodies at the same time. So then that's why we get curvature with the erection. And I have seen some pretty gnarly. I've seen a full
cur-
fish hook.
what? How does
Yeah,
that
dude.
even work?
Full fish hook.
How does that
So
even, how do you use that?
I guess upside down. I don't know.
What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Just when you think you're having a bad day, you think about, like, man, could be a
Yeah.
whole lot worse.
Yeah, so it will help. It will not help that severe of Peyronie's, but if we're looking, so I mean, the AUA guidelines were basically, if your curvature's under 30 degrees, to not worry about it. The P shot can help with that too, even if you are bothered by it. It can help with, I think, I don't have the literature in front of me, but even like a 60-degree curve, it can help reduce some of that. There's still indications for, like, if you have a severe curve, P shot's probably not going to help with it being that severe. And you're probably going to be looking at some more interventions like application. They do a collagenase, I think, which is Xiaflex, although that has a high failure rate. You can actually use Xiaflex with the P shot, but I personally don't want to use Xiaflex just for the high rate of problems that can happen from it. So
No, okay.
that's a choice that I've made. Matter of fact, I made that choice back when I worked in urology to just not do it because of the complication rates. I was like, nope, I'm just going to stick into looking inside of bladders as my
Yeah.
main procedural
Yeah, I don't blame you.
aspect. So
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Well, so that's next up. We'll be talking about that shortly, I guess, once you get
yeah,
that.
and I probably will be doing some TikTok videos about that, and just to kind of put out some literature or some content related to it, just so people can kind of understand. But yeah, you can gain some girth and some lost length you can regain by having a P shot done. So
All right.
yeah. And that's just what we are offering. We do. I do want to point this out too. We do have offerings on bringing on 2 more services to our in-person people. The one would be body composition analysis. Will be coming in the next 2 months. I will be getting a really nice in-body scanner, and that will be for all of our TRT and HRT clients included. That will be part of their routine. So we'll be tracking body compositions. And the second thing is I will be adding a gains wave, which is low intensity shockwave therapy for erectile dysfunction, and also potentially some orthopedic / tendonitis type injuries that can help with that. And then hopefully in the future, down the road, I'm thinking down in the future here, I am toying around the idea of opening up a small recovery / wellness place that has red light therapy, hyperbaric, sauna, like that type of stuff. That's not really part of our clinic, that may be as like adjacent to it, but like a kind of a separate business that
Yeah.
is more geared towards that.
Okay.
So not a
There you go.
gym, but like a more of like a recovery /
Yeah.
like place you can go after your gym and just kind of,
Hang out.
melt away.
We offer the pea shot there too.
We'll be right next door, so they can just
Oh,
come
well, there you
over
go.
and
You
be
can
like,
always go. I think
go long.
whatever you do, I think all for that you'll have business. I think
Yeah.
people will be
So
happy.
I'm excited to start offering them. Really, I mean, because I have a lot of experience, obviously, with doing injections down there from when I was in urology. So
Mhm.
I think it'll play quite well, and I think they'll be. I don't know. I don't know how popular they'll be, but we shall see.
Well, just
So,
in time for the summer.
yep,
You know,
get it ready, locked and
summer.
loaded.
Get your summer body going. You get your everything ready for the summer. So,
Yep,
all right, Josh. Well, until next week, I will talk to you later.
sounds good, brother.
All right. Take care, man.